she's not gonna meet us where we at, we must take the protest to her. Out of these doors, and we're gonna make our way to the Allen building, so that if she wants to leave, she's not gonna make it past us.
And we want the truth. We see you.
And we want the truth.
We see you.
Our actions speak so loud that often others cannot hear the words we say. We must remain committed to challenging systems, structures, decisions, and processes that exclusively represent and benefit some, choosing to retire our silence in such manners which impact us all. As a community, region, state, and nation, we must change now. We must remember that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to face it head on and push forward regardless. I remain with you always in solidarity. Sincerely, Dr. Cephas Archie.
Students learning about the Dr.Archie situation might be the reason that they're so mad about this. I guess the president wasn't being as clear as she could have been about firing Dr.Archie.
We don't know exactly what has happened. We don't know the reasons for his firing. I don't think it could be because of him starting an uprising against college. I don't think it has to deal with any of those issues. But I think like something he might have done, maybe there could have been some issues with the faculty or some issues with the president that she didn't like.
Today I stand before you as a leader who cannot answer every question that you might have. I know that that is hard to hear.
Has there ever been any formal or informal allegations based on race, sex, and or gender filed against any cabinet member, whether it be affirmative action complaint or a bias report?
I think I'm able to answer that question, right?
Okay.
What I can tell you about any personnel decision is obviously limited. What I can also tell you about personnel decisions is that there's a deliberately long process that our college follows before we make any kind of personnel decision that is likely to relate to individuals. I cannot comment any further about particular matters, but what I can say is that it's very important that we have a long process because that protects our community.
I just know that he got fired. A lot of people are mad about it, and that she had somebody come into the school to like help her.
I only know that he was in charge of that, the president of diversity program or such here at Brockport, but I didn't hear much more about him.
A lot of people were upset about it, and that it's a big deal on campus, and that something's wrong and something should be fixed.
Straight out of high school, I graduated in 2016, and I applied to Brockport, and I was denied. And recently, I found out actually through an email from the president is like in 2015, that's when we had like the highest rate of like inequality here at Brockport. So, I mean, to me, I was wondering, I was like, wait, was I like targeted from that? And I just don't know. Like my GPA, it wasn't the best, you know, but like, I don't think it was enough to get denied from Brockport since I was accepted to a variety of other schools. But being here now on campus, I can tell you, like some professors, you know, you get that feeling of some like unequal treatment compared to like some other students.
I've had a number of reactions. I have an anger, constructive anger, you know, well-placed anger. I'm hurt. I feel hurt because it's not just him that was hurt. It was me, many of the staff and faculty, the students all feel hurt that we would be somehow almost betrayed in this.
We need y'all help on this. It's just as much as your school as it is ours. And
Brockport, just like many other SUNY schools, has low enrollment rates. It gets even lower when you look at students with different backgrounds. If you want to use the terminology of minorities encompass many individuals, but people tend to always limit it towards just race and ethnicity. But if we were just going to focus on those two categories, students of color don't want to come to this college.
I found out about Dr. Archie being fired through Twitter, and one of my professors actually spoke to us about it the week after it happened. I think that other colleges are being more transparent with their students about the situation that happened here, than Brockport is being, and I think there's definitely a huge problem with that, because this is definitely something that we can all learn from, but I think the people in power don't really want to admit they made a mistake.
Because of that, students ended up finding about this information elsewhere, and I guess once it started gaining more momentum and more students started finding out and getting mad about his firing, that's when the president maybe sent an email out, and maybe that's why because I found out about it on Facebook through someone that doesn't even go to the school, and then I saw the president's email.
Okay, this is something that I told President McPherson face to face. I said, when she let him go, it reminded me of every humiliating experience I've had with white people in my life, going back to 3rd grade up until now. That's a lot of experience. I think that there was contempt not only towards his person, but towards us as a community, which is a continuous factor at this institution. We are treated contemptuously by the community. People who are not white are treated contemptuously by the community, the college community, and the wider village. That's just a fact. It's a fact that a lot of whites don't want to deal with. Because I was in another meeting and one white guy said he was offended by the fact that blacks outside of the college community had said that they're racist here, and he said they haven't even been here. And I didn't get a chance to respond to that. But for white people, racism is like bad breath. You don't know you have it until somebody tells you.
I've been in administration for a long, long time, been president of a union. That could mean anything.
Changing people, changing lives, both academically and personally, creating leaders, creating an atmosphere where people of color or diverse populations could want to come here and work and go to school. Brockport has a long history of not having that, and he was changing it. And I've been here long enough to know that it needed changing. So that's why I'm hurt and angry that we're on our way. I've watched what he's done these last few years. I've worked with him on a number of his projects. I worked with many of the students that he worked with. So I have both, the hurt and anger. And now I have a strong distrust.
From my own experience, and this is all I'm basing it on, is Brockport has made great strides in diversifying at least the student body. And so I understand that we have grown exponentially as far as students of color. And again, I think what President McPherson had reiterated is diversity takes many forms. It isn't just about color. It's also about gender. It's about sexuality. It's about transgender students, LGBTQIA students. And so, from my own limited experience and interaction on this campus, over the course of the 6 years that I've been teaching here, I have seen, just in that short time span, a much more diverse student body, especially in my own classrooms.
I'm looking at a man that's dismissed who you can see the love, you can see the affection, you can see the admiration and the trust in someone like him. That's evidence of who he was, not who they were or she was. It was about that man that you dismissed. They came to let it known that how they felt about him. Now I'm certain that I'll have people angry at me, but I don't care. I really don't. I will never hold my mouth to truth. I'm a pastor of a church in Leroy, New York, and I've never hedged from telling the truth. I don't say it in a nasty way. I don't say it in a way to insult people, but this is not right. That's all I can say. This is just not right.
And instead of things getting better, they seem to be getting worse. And I'm not just blaming that on the people in Brockport, because it's following the national trend. Look, we have this clear white supremacist in the White House. He's a racist. He's a misogynist. And he's very stupid. But people have put him there, and he has a whole gang of supporters. Now there are a lot of people who harbor these racist feelings, and they feel emboldened to express them now. And I see Dr. Archie's treatment just an extension of that.
And I think the problem definitely is a lack of diversity, and the president realized she made a mistake and kind of tried to backpedal from it without really admitting that she did something wrong. in the first place. And I think that's a problem. No one's being completely honest about it, so not entirely, no.
I feel like if the president decides to fire someone, she shouldn't have to put out an email and tell all the students, because that's not usually how things happen. Even if it's someone the students love, she wouldn't have to put out an email explaining herself. I feel like she did it because students were getting mad about his firing, and the fact that she put out an email because of that is good, but I personally don't feel she had to speak on his firing just because she most likely had a good reason to fire him.
But for right now, with the recent coronavirus scare, though, the SUNY is completely shut down. She's like, our administration here is dealing with a lot more than with the diversity issues, so there's a lot on the plate.
I can see the change. I can feel the change. So it's not some imagination. Having seen it at its worst, I began to see it growing. Now it's at worst as it's ever been for me. I sent an email to all the faculty and staff saying, what I said was, if we don't stand for something, we'll lay down for anything. That was a quote by a very famous leader.
Hallelujah, thine glory, revive us again. Hallelujah, thine glory, hallelujah, amen, hallelujah.
Of opposition, we stand in the midst of evil. But we know that you are able, because your word is true. So we call upon your spirit to resonate in our lives and to lift us and those others that are part of this, to touch those students, to let them know that there's more to the picture than what we see with our eyes, that you are behind what is right and good. Give them
I cannot express how beautiful it is to see so many students come out together to speak their concern and their love and appreciation for what Dr. Archie has done and their desire to make things better at our campus. I can't kind of hold back my tears. It's just so
We see you. We want the truth. 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 We see you. We want.
I feel like the president should be able to speak on it about why Dr. Archie was fired without no explanation or evidence. That shit is false or a lie, period.
If she's not willing to hear our demands and she's not going to meet us where we at, we must take the protest to her. Out of these doors, and we're going to make our way to the Allen building so that if she wants to leave, she's not going to make it past us.
And we want the truth. We see you. And we want the truth. We see you. We see you. We want the truth. We see you.
Look, I always think students should protest. I'm a huge supporter of that. I think students should raise their voices over all kinds of things. I mean, look, I think if students of color feel as though their voices aren't being heard, what better way than to get out there in the streets and make a statement and say, look, we've been dealing with this for so long, we want to be heard now. And I think, you know, from my vantage point, hooray, because we're all talking about it now.
But there is another thing that we all know too. Being black in America, what you know is that there is always some unfairness. There is always some unfairness there. And I found, and I'm not saying this is the case with him, I don't think this is the case, but I found even situations like that where the black person is wrong, there's usually some unfairness in the way it was handled. So I don't think he was wrong at all. I don't think he did anything wrong. And I haven't been shown any proof, and the administration hadn't said anything that convinced us that he did anything wrong. The president hasn't even said that she was unhappy with his performance. She never said that. She has never expressed any unhappiness publicly with his performance. So I don't understand why he's gone.
We're gonna wait until we're unified for choose the people that we want to speak, and then we're gonna make our way in there.
Well, right now we've marched into the Allen Administration Building here to talk to Heidi about the issues in which Brockport has presented us: institutionalized racism, lack of representation for minority communities, and we will stand here united. We will stand here as one. We are meant to be heard. We will not take their silence as acceptance. We want answers and we want justice, and we will stay here until we get that.
So that everybody will know what's happening right now. The president is meeting with small groups at a time, 10 to 15 at the most. So what we need to do is make sure that the groups are ready, and that you're orderly. Remember, it's about respect, all right? It's about respect and truth.
I'm a white student. I have the privilege to not have to worry about racism. And I'll use that position of privilege to make myself visible, because there's students here who are worried about retaliation. There's faculty who's terrified of retaliation because not all of them are safe. I'm angry. I'm hurt. More than anything, I think every student here wants change. I think we deserve honesty. We have done more than enough to deserve the honesty of this administration.
That student wanted you in there without your equipment, you could have gone in. But it's not an open meeting, so the media is not legally.
They don't know what's happening on their own campus. And that's kind of almost seemed how the administration felt too, that they weren't understanding and seeing the very things going on their own campus. And it was ignorance, whether it was purposeful or, wasn't intentional. That's something that needs to be rectified.
Good afternoon. I was looking for my glasses. I apologize for the time it took me to find my glasses. I just wanted to make a couple of comments to you right now about some actions that I've committed to and committing the campus to. This is a message that is going out to campus this afternoon, but I wanted you to hear it first. I'm committing to various things to help ensure that our climate at the College of Brockport is the best climate that it can be. I will continue to do everything in my power to help rebuild what has been broken on campus. I have heard repeatedly from our community that they expect our leadership to be courageous, and I am going to stand here, and I am standing here in front of you today with this courage to do.
I think it's hard to say all students are embarrassed about being here. I just don't think that's true. That's a blanket statement. I don't think that's true. And I don't think all faculty feel embarrassed about teaching here. I think we see this as an opportunity to change some things and make some real change. Without struggle, there can't be change.
I've literally seen targets on our backs getting picked off one by one. And I feel like as a community, to let that happen over the past 3 years and not stop anything, I feel like that's a slap to the face.
In 2009, we had 9% underrepresented students. Our incoming body this fall was 27% underrepresented students. So we have actually been very intentional in diversifying our student body, and we've been very successful in doing so.
Almost second guess, should I have come here? Should I have gone to another school? Should I have gone somewhere else? Because it's only my first year here, and this has happened to me, and I feel kind of attacked as a woman of color and a minority.
The responsibility for equity, diversity, inclusion never rests with one person.
I don't know your intentions. I don't know your mind. I'm not you.
But the fact that it took us begging, protesting, marching, chanting, demanding answers for us to start getting somewhere, that's going to speak worlds more than everything you've done just seems like a response. It does not seem like you are doing this because you actually care about this campus.
Clearly there is a lack of being able to fix this in the HR department because we are being met with discrimination charges, and I just want to know why you have not made or released any comment about it, and our students are finding out about these discrimination charges through the news.
So discrimination charges are not, those are, HR processes are not public processes.
I understand that, but in the light of like what is going on, I think that it should have been something that you at least somewhat addressed, because to find out from the news that our college is being charged with discrimination stuff, it's like a slap in the face. It's like, I attend this institution and this affects like our professionalism too, because it's like, oh, you're from there, yeah, and I'm stuck here pretty much, and it sucks because literally, like, we have somebody who won't even comment on it, and it's just making us look stupid.
I have been insulated because I'm in this department, and the majority of the people, not the majority, all the people in this department look like me. And that's a beautiful thing. But I've been in meetings where I've heard other faculty of color talk about things that's going on campus, and not all of them are black. I just say faculty of color discuss some very harsh and horrible things that happen to them because they're in departments that are controlled by whites, and they feel like they can do anything they want to the black person. There's been a lot of bullying. I've heard that some are even afraid of their department chairs or their managers and directors. Some of these people don't fight back because they have fragile situations. They have to take care of their children, their families, so they need a job. You have a right to be here and to feel comfortable here. And anyone who seeks to abridge that right, they are in the wrong. And you have the responsibility to call them out on it. That's your responsibility. It's time out for us to try to convince people what's right and wrong. I ain't got time to be explaining and describing the moon to a blind person. I sit up at this college, I've been here for 2.5 years, and I see students come in my office crying and all types of emotional states because some foolish person has made them feel like they're less than a human being and like they don't belong. Nobody has the right to make you feel that way. So my question to you is this. You have all these demands about the particular things that you want. Do you feel that under the leadership that we currently have, that you and your needs have been fully served? Whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're gay, whether you're straight. Do you feel like your needs have been served as students trying to seek an education? Can you honestly tell yourself yes? Well, if that's the real problem, what is this about? If the real problem is that the administration is not serving your needs, asking for particular points is not going to change the situation. I think I'm saying something, but I don't believe y'all listening at me.
It's the administration that's the problem.
I don't think the college can be trusted, particularly in light of what has just happened with this so-called anonymous phone call that spawned this call out to this woman in Texas. I think that because of the ethical question that has been raised in the aftermath of his termination, that the issues are so great now that they can no longer be investigated. They can only be dealt with here, locally, that they must be dealt with by a higher authority, and that this college cannot be trusted.
Yes, we do want to be inclusive to all bodies of people, and I don't want anybody to be discriminated against or to feel like they're not safe in the space. However, we can't allow our voice to be muffled by adding on everything else that also is concerned when right now we have a specific movement, and we have specific goals that need to be met. With that being said, yes, being more specific in the language that we use with these demands is very necessary. Just like one of the professors stated, if we say underrepresented community, we can say they can fulfill that with a white woman.
I feel like we should really ramp up our tactics so that basically we could just simply inconvenience them to the point where they can't bear it anymore. You know, be willing to play dirty so that McPherson and other people who are really siding with institutional racism will fear to continue.
There is no rhyme or reason to it. There's no cohesiveness to it. I mean, when you look at it, and it looks like they're trying to backfill a justification for what they did to him. And so I think she has every right to be upset and angry. Because you remember, she represents a constituency in the city of Rochester that is mostly black and brown. And so when you come here, the students who are being harmed are black and brown students, and this is part of the Rochester area.
I mean, I think that the chancellor is taking steps to correct some things, and I think, you know, Dr. King from Oswego has a wonderful track record at Oswego. And I think he's a good sort of middle ground intermediary between between Dr. Archie and then whoever our new CDO is. But that decision to hire a new CDO will be Dr. McPherson's decision. The chancellor won't bring somebody in. It will be the college's decision who the next chief diversity officer is. People's focus is on something else now, which is far greater and more impactful to all of us. It's a global pandemic, but I think on the college campus here, not everybody knew Dr. Archie. So, you know, the impact was certainly great for a select group of students, but now we've got something that is affecting all of us in a big way. It's upsetting.
That's a good.
I could ask. It's just not enough time. But I'd like to know what he has to say to us as students. And at this point, I don't think the school will swallow their pride enough to give him his job back. So I'd like to know what he would tell us so that we can continue moving forward with positivity and growth. This has been traumatic, so that we don't live and ruminate in the fear and the anger. How would he suggest, in his wonderful way, that we move forward with growth and positivity? That would be my favorite question for him, because he has such a wonderful wisdom.